Good evening, customary crowd. The Premiership of minions has sailed into a faraway land denominated ETF2L. But in the harsh winter of 2026, this very voyage hits the dead end for both teams of tonight's coverage. We had 6-7 weeks in Season 51 and you probably can't wait until when finally someone else than me starts speaking. Before we get there, Samus is on production, as always, holding the camera sturdily for you to see everything. But Wan is my co-caster for tonight, and he can have a shot at, unironically Wan, I might add, saying those two team names out loud.
Kek, Minoin, Samurai, and the Enderpearls are playing tonight, and they're playing for Premiership seeding, or for playoff seeding, rather. Both teams have successfully made it into Prem. There's no outcome of this game or the other game happening tonight that would spoil their return to Prem, bar a bunch of minus points for the Enderpearls, and then a 6-point victory for Joey Guns, and we might have some weird stuff happening, but they should be very much in control of their destiny here. So now we're actually fighting for playoff seeding. So the more points for the Enderpearls, the better. Currently sitting in 4th place. Then, of course, the Samurai looking to jump up a bit and secure their second spot at the moment that they're sitting at. Got map bands here on screen. Sunshine Process coming out on top. So this, you see this, Tomato, and it's looking like some kind of slow games. I think maybe we're due for.
If it's a slow game, then I can finally unveil my true nature. All of the people, all of the viewers know me as a stickler for the logs, boring, chronicler's duty. No, never mind. The Samurais, you already pointed the finger where it hurts when they're currently on the 2nd spot with 22 points, and the Enderpearls do feature on the 4th spot, 18 points. But we don't even get there. We get instantly into the very first map here on Sunshine. The Samurais, Flick, SNH, Sylphs, Bloke, Mac, and Eon versus the Enderpearls, Andy, Nikki, Mathis, Rotisha, Luca, and Otto, as Sunshine is the first mid to take it away.
So far rolling out, it is Mac sort of sitting in Valley early on, just sticky spam across. Both of these teams coming into this once again, looking to just take as many points as they can to secure their playoff seeding. Going into
double
that,
jump.
So it's early damage coming in. Both soldiers actually forwards, and this is not an effective bomb. Actually, everyone falling here on the side. Just Math is taken down, and this is suddenly turning into a very strange fight.
Andy is rushing. SNH has to barrel out of there with the run. It's a huge shot from Eon. He cannot leave. Stop the Rotisha, I suppose. That final fadeaway Rocket Man. I can already say that there's also a pistol at work here, but did you see the tag here on Eon? No raging. This has to be a promise. Really good surf from him, but a perfect follow-up rocket. That
was such a beautiful rocket there from Rotisha. Just such amazing little fadeaway. That's such a nice one to hit. To be honest, on my screen, it barely even looked like it hit. I feel like Eon should be proud of himself for the surf, but then the rocket from Rotisha now. Massive advantage on the board here for the side of the Enderpearls. Going up 1-0. On a map like Sunshine that can be very difficult to push is such a huge advantage. You can see them buffing up and they're looking to just go straight in with the Super Rat.
And he is already bulldozing for it as the pistol is only then unloaded. The sentry gun's still quite healthy, but Luca Enderman has that dealt deftly with by his own pistol, pipe shots there. But now the point is enabled here. So much kept time, so much kept time. And it is Sylphs trying to ameliorate the position. Only Otto sneakily sneaking on that point. I like the impetus. They sort of just left the sentry gun to be dealt with by Luca and then rotated to the other side, but it was barely not enough.
Yeah, that's such an unfortunate push there for the Enderpearls. So close to getting the cap. You see them all getting wiped there, so no back cap shenanigans either. Just going to be sitting back on second. Sniper up for Nikki. He's going to have to hit a big shot because this is a massive advantage here for Eon.
Rotisha sitting on the top of the way. We have a double soldier controlling the high ground. Rotisha, though, is now stopped as the Rot, as I dubbed him beforehand. Nikki also doesn't find a favorable angle here, being bulldozed by Mac, and another soldier jumping in at the entranceway of this Uber fading. And once more, they're still fighting over the second point so ferociously. Andy down.
SNH doing big damage there to Eon as well. Oh, they're so low, actually. Everyone on the blue team. This is such a nice bomb from Sylphs. He's taking so much space, and now, look at the spawners. It's only 2 up here for the side of the Enderpearls. I think the Samurai might just be able to roll this onto last.
Auto tried to once more repeat, but eventually they're going to surface on the barrels here. SNH shut down, and Auto, though, shut down as some scouts are leaving into the spawn. So it's basically the Eon advantage. They're banking on Andy on
This is such a risky spy play to go for. Eon has a ginormous advantage because they managed to sneak out that kill onto Auto. Huge advantage for the Samurai now. And Andy has one shot of this. He's not in on last. This means that it's so much harder. There's no gun up either, right? It's Nicky forced to spawn late on that engineer. And so this spy play has one chance to work. We can see the Uber already out. In onto Mac, onto last. Big damage dealt, but it's actually the stab coming through. It's on to SNH so far. No further damage being dealt. Sentry Gun is taken down. Is this enough for the Samurai to come in? So much damage. Sylvan's trying to find Auto, but he's somehow staying alive. The cleanup.
The cleanup, and you can't even count in the nominal picks they are getting here and collecting even more, since if a spy steps you before you can even really push, then that also does disturb your comms. And what is even more disturbing here is that Bloke is not leaving after that one. It was a valuable attempt by the Ronin, but Musashi was klopped down, and it's still a cafe fight here. Essentially, there are red players aggressively forward.
Yeah, this is kind of a ballsy play to go in, and they're looking to just kind of push forward to the Samurai. Taking a lot of damage. That's a consequence. Nicky bossing them in choke. It's a follow-up kill there onto Eon as well, and suddenly this has gone from bad to worse for the side of the Samurai. They really get so aggressive, but they end up losing Eon. Now they're going to have to pull out mid.
Rotisha with a high bomb, but he definitely did ignore Sylphs there on the blue Tetris area. 5 minutes. Where have those 5 minutes, or where did they go? Basically, it's a constant deathmatch fight here. Currently, as Mac is already peppered, not quite sprayed in the choke area. I'm going to pontificate on their sorry state here. Basically being coast to coast swept on both sides, but it seems as a pause is the first pause for us to maybe analyze it a little bit, but I was talking about it earlier. Both teams already would have had 1-0 up if they just pushed the enemy team's last point.
Yeah, I think this is the Sunshine Classic where you try to push in, and even with full ad, that push is so difficult. But I think for me, the Samurai, the sort of pushes have been. I like the aggression a lot, right? Like they're so willing to go off those smaller sort of pick advantages. The push on onto second, I kind of like it in theory. Unfortunately, Eon kind of caught out. Huge play there from Nicky, just running in through choke, hitting those 2 shots. Absolutely massive from him. The Samurai are kind of playing a bit more aggressive, at least for the moment. I wonder, the Enderpearls, they seem to be responding in kind, however. Dude, that spy play from Andy, like, on full disad, I can't believe that worked.
I also, hinted a bit at it. He got only one frag, and he's on spy, so sometimes a bit of useless class, so you could even say trade out, but it disturbs the comms. Yes, Eon had already popped the Uber, they were already charging in, but if just one player in the backline screams spy, sometimes difficult to still gain focus, but we are once more collecting our focus here and moving our eyes toward the green area.
Yeah, and it's Samurai not really willing to contest this whatsoever, so they're going to back out for second, just leaving onto last. Eon 90% Uber here, so we'll have time for Uber of his own. So Andy in lower, just scouting out. I wonder what the Enderpearls are going to do. This is even Ubers. You're looking to try and crack this last hold anyway. You see the soldier getting tagged up, trying to go forwards. Just going to bomb in behind. I think Math is just looking to pressure, not looking for a sack so far, because that is so much spam damage coming in onto them.
Decent surf though, and it's the Andy in the forefront. Doesn't really amount to a whole lot, honestly. Sentry Gun also now up to level 2. The Nostromo and the Palmer for all you Flick, Pyro, main and enthusiasts being brought up to the front line, but maybe that is a, tranquil point where the flanks are pacified.
For the moment, it's SNH is up on the engineer, right? You're just going to be holding this. Rotisha is going to bomb in, do a lot of damage there onto the enemy soldier, but doesn't find the kill, actually. So somehow Sylvs managed to trade out. Nice rocket there from Mathis in onto Sylvs, but unfortunately it's not enough. This is a 3-man sack, and you don't find anything whatsoever. I wonder, though, this singular frag onto Sylvs should be enough to dissuade the push coming out.
I have the Octorial view for our viewers, by the way. They paused because they had a switch up that was needed in the timer. And Premiership teams sometimes do know how configs work. I do love how just they say in the in-game chat, I don't care, just pause whenever. Feel free to do it. Andy, though, feels free to switch to sniper.
On the sniper now is going to be looking for some kind of a shot. You can see Sylvs actually in on spawn, just checking back and forth. So they're going to know he's up. He's also going to get spammed out. This is a very difficult angle here for Andy to actually get in on. You see just being pelted by the rockets there. And the rollers, the stock rollers from Mac. Just a bomb in coming in onto Mathis as he tries to make space with the sniper and just completely falls on to his knees, I think for the moment at least. But Andy's going to be forced to set on second still now from lower. This is a hard angle. Just soldiers in his scope. And unfortunately they're hitting him for too much damage. He can't push. The sniper's just going to have to remain in the back of our minds for now.
And maybe even in the back of the heads of the enemy team, but we always do laud Andy here, but I want to praise Rottischer. That was also a decent pincer attempt from the lower area, almost even able to catch out Mac, who tried to lock down the right side, seen from his own perspective. Another high bomb here, but there's a shot on to Flick, no pyro.
This opens the door for a sentry gun spam to come out. You see immediately the projectile spam comes forwards from the Samurai. Do not let this soldier into a position where he can effectively spam down that gun. The pipe from Mac, though, shuts down the sniper, and that's a lot of the danger now diffused in the situation. Gun not being spammed down while the pyro is down either means that, for the moment, the Enderpearl is just going to sit back. The question is, Andy, will he... I think, to be honest, I think sniping into a position like this might not be the best. I would, honestly, at that point, prefer to see a spy play. Anything, but 2 minutes left. Back on the stock class. Still in spawn.
Probably only want to get the Ubers out of the equation here, since then you have maybe 2 pushes if that one doesn't work, and you get some prior cap time. Now Nikki and Andy, they're being buffed, and I think they're just talking through their push right now. Otto is healing his players. I'm not even expecting that much of a suicidal attempt here. Mathis is only really opening this up here a little bit, jumping upon Bloke here, but Bloke had already claimed Rottischer prior to that.
That's a soldier trade for the Samurai, completely fine. This is where you really have to start respecting the timer, right? Minute and a half left on the round. That resets, you just go right back to middle. The Samurai pushing out of Sunshine second is usually even harder, depending on the situation, right? Than actually just staying in on last, keeping the hold up for another minute here. So this Flick Pyro doing such a good job of denying the enemy. And the Samurai, honestly, also have been so good at this right side spam. It is so difficult, as you can see, for Mathis to get in. He's 40 HP. Well, you can even try to go for anything. So still, minute left. And Nepal's no answer to this last hold. So Nikki so far in, but look at that rocket there.
You called out how well they were with the preservation of their own damaged projectiles on the top right, but now Rottischer and Mathis, they do leap in. Luca Enement switches position up, he's spamming the top left area of the Red's POV, and the sentry gun was also almost minced meat. Rottischer once more initiates Bloke down. Nikki, however, traded out by the robot of the sentry gun, basically in SNH hands, and there's some prior cap time claimed here, and we already plugged away by one sticky. Sentry gun down.
This is sentry gun down means that suddenly maybe there's an angle for the soldiers to bomb in. Pyro's still up on the high ground, so it's a bit difficult still. I think with Andy traded as well, that means the aggression is going to cease for now, but this gives the enemy time. Samurai, 20 seconds left, and I'm surprised, to be honest, the Enderpearls have never even tried to just send a Hail Mary push in. Now with 13 seconds left, it looks like they finally might be doing just that. But 9 seconds, there's an Uber coming in. They have to go to the point straight away here.
Only level 1 sentry gun, but aptly dealt with. Just a Uber, basically a red one, and that flushes them out. Stalemate. The medics do keep the primacy of the points, because not a whole lot honestly happened. I mean, I was already flustered. 5 minutes of constant, insane fragging potential, and then the pause comes in, and suddenly we are completely detached from any sort of dynamic gameplay style. I mean, it was sort of dynamic if you consider it as Sunshine last, but I talked about it earlier. I would have liked for them, when we had 2 minutes on the clock, to just attempt an Uber push and then gain some cap time, you know, and then you have the time for a secondary attempt, but apparently that was not the case. However, 0-0 scoreline, second mid-fight.
Last time around, it went the favor of the Enderpearls, so back onto mid, looking for a repeat success. Both soldiers bombing quite early. This is Bloke doing a lot of damage. Scout in the air shot not connecting, but there's so much pressure on Luca. And Sills with a beautiful follow-up rocket there onto the enemy medic as well. So Roger's just stuck in Valley, 30 HP, and he cannot kill Flick. So this is one man up. The Samurai responding in kind. This is a mid-fight victory of their own. Full Uber out as well. Roger, big shoes to fill now.
Rottischer is close by, but really just passing themselves by. I was lauding Mathis and Rottischer the round before, even though it didn't net them a 1-0 lead here, but this time around quite dominantly won, honestly, by the Bloke and Sylph's combo, intermittently changing out their just their resources, compartmentalizing them, then reinitiating, Otto being shot down to half HP, and then nets them still a 70% Uber advantage.
Andy looking to shut down that Uber advantage for the Samurai, who are looking to just take the first round, instantly macking forwards. As Uber's pushed, and actually Sentry Gun dropped down as well, so now you have to start claiming this space. They pushed in from the other side, makes taking high ground a bit harder. There's a lot of damage, but actually Mac taken down by the Heavy that comes out, and with no Demo Man, you just can't hold on to that last push anymore, as the Ender Pearls just manage to just hold on.
No cap time either. Rotisha put the mandate upon him still to surveil this point, and also though I think they are recalcitrant enough to have a double scout forward and still quite sanguine to shoot some scattergun shots forward. Otto doesn't yet have, so they're all still conglomerated up upon their own concrete area. Right now though, I think this space is seeded since 30% and at least narrowed down the Uber efficiencies a little bit, only 25% Uber disadvantage.
Yeah, this is completely fine for the Samurai. Just play this a little bit slow. There's spam coming in. The bomb from Bloke is huge. Getting the force out of Auto now. You can see the Samurai instantly scurry for the hills, and they can come right back in. Uber charge off their own. And the Uber just going to get sent straight forward. They're just trying to take as much space as they can before they have to pop. Math is stuck in behind. And he's going to need to find some kind of special play, because now, staring down the barrel, massive Uber disad, but Nicky's found that force.
Brilliant force found, but there are still some blue players to worry about in the forefront, as Rotisha once more is trying to make landfall. Well, eventually Hell freezes out until he takes a 1v5. It's still though, the sides have a little bit swapped, and in all of that they didn't even keep the mid point, but Mathis is on the mid, still threatening it a bit threadbare and being in cafe behind them, but finally Red claims second.
They claim second, but they don't claim an Uber ad. This is Auto's slight advantage. Soldier behind. This is a scary situation if you are the Samurai, as Mathis is just looking to pounce your scouts. Does also turn around, but Bloke finds the kill into Auto.
Back SNH!
Oh my god!
Is so very readily available to not only subtract health, but to subtract the absolute aneurysma we have suffered from just witnessing the second point fight. But eventually, you know, you just send a backcapper behind, and in all of that, in what combined of 5 to 6 last pushes, apparently once more Sunshine is a backcap heaven.
I can't believe he managed to get in there in the first place. The auto kill is enough, but then that scout play through lower, I assume, just getting the point from under the noses of the Ender Pearls. That means Samurai now up 1-0. As the Ender Pearls are looking to repeat the success of their first mid. They did not come out on top the last time around, but look at how much space Mac is taking already. As the Ender Pearls are just forced to sit back as these pipes are coming in doing so much damage.
It was now green attempt versus Tetris attempt, and it seems to be coming out on top, but no, Auto eradicated of this world. This time around, it's Sylphs, it's not Bloke. Bloke can take Luca down though, and Mathis is also charged away by the rest of those players. I think they still have Nicky and Rotisha in behind. They have to watch out that they don't get completely encircled here.
It's Eon down quite low. This is so scary. He's alive, he's 8 HP and choked, by the way. Tried to stay up, but there's a spawner coming. This is a very hard situation for Eon to actually escape. Health pack not up either, so he's forced to keep charge. He's 50 and he's managed to pack. Is he out?
Oh my god. Oh, he's jumping
choke.
Rocket the soldier.
What a shot.
Eon!
He's somehow not popped through all of this. Nicky's cleaned up as well, and now from heroics from Eon, I cannot believe.
I'm going to say it. It took eons to not even kill him there.
Yeah, we like that. This is a big advantage now for the Samurai, at least for the moment. But look at Auto, actually, in all that chaos, has managed to build it all the way up to 90%. As you can see them just backing off the last one. They're down a round now, right? And so suddenly that means... I mean, this last hold, that's what I wanted to say. This last hold, not where you want to be.
Definitely not if, well, we are cropping up on 14 minutes here. Also, Sentry Gun only level 1, so that means it is immediately turned back into the ground where it once came from. And now SNH is also charging in a bit more progressively forward here. Flick also fires some shots into the sky, and that leaves the point open since this Demo Man had not a whole lot of stickies there reserved and safeguarding some more on their right side. Sylphs out. Nothing really is lost here. It was a dangerous settlement, but I don't think Blue is feeling comfortable pushing out. They are so close though.
They are really close, but Sylphs with a huge bomb in there. Gets the force out of Auto way earlier than he would have liked. As Bloke sacrificing himself as well. I get a bit more damage done, and so Andy has to take this Uber forward on his own. Decent damage dealt to Eon, but unfortunately the pack is right there to save him. And so now with the follow-up cleanup kill onto Rochicher as well, this is very, very hard situation now for the Enderpearls. Like sacking their Soldier and Mathis to try and get that force out, but this is still 3 players down. There's nothing on last, and I think the Samurai, they're looking to just push this up to 2-0.
Flick is in already onto the last point, and let's see, they have now 2 spawners, but eventually Auto is eradicated. A double scout on the point. That caps quite fast, and that was basically the 2 to 3 seconds mattering there that also secluded their own spawners from coming up once more. Eon didn't want to pop on the second point, was almost a little bit flustered there then popping in the end, but I talked about it. I don't want to say it's post-factual commentary, but I didn't want Auto maybe to pop this aggressively there in the lobby, but eventually this is what they opted for.
Fortunately, not given much of a choice. It was such a nice little bomb in from Sylvs, getting that force onto Auto. So much damage dealt to the rest of the team as well, left them in a horrible position in the post-Uber. Back on mid, Enderpearls really need to start building momentum. 12.5 minutes left, and that is a huge rocket onto Mathis. You don't get to play the mid, sir. 1 soldier down already, and just look at the blue health bars. They're absolutely nowhere on this mid.
It was huge though from Mathis, wonderful rocket there, and then followed up. It is now, though, Auto, since a lot of players stay on the front here to clean them up. In the green area, doesn't look so green after all, but Flick is still in behind, afflicting some lethal wounds, mayhaps. Well, he's the one suffering that in Eon spawns alone. I want to say, Eon definitely very well played, especially in the 2 rounds that they claim for themselves, you know, milking it out, surfing out, living for so long, but he went down.
And he actually, unfortunately, with those spawns, he's the first one to die, and that means that the Uber advantage for the side of the Samurai, not as big as you maybe would have liked. Also died at the very end of the mid. Unfortunately, Eon just forced to stand and spawn by himself for a long time. So even Uber's onto second. No real setup. You can see the early aggression from the Enderpearls coming in. They've realized the timer is against them. So early kill into Sylvs as he sacks forwards. Doesn't fight the kill onto Auto. 50 HP. But the spam keeps building. And this is pressure onto Eon. He has to back off here.
Very impressive scout combo play by Andy and Nikki. Basically, Sylvs sat on the fence and was absolutely detached from his live subscription in the end. They were just barreling him down there. And now Mathis is already, well, only having a panorama bomb. Rotisha and Andy, they are also charging through them in top right area. Flick is the very first casualty of that fight. It's a 5k Rotisha. Once more, some more damage projectiles are flung their way. But it is just allowing them here until Bloke has a headshot.
I thought that was a medic. I got so excited over a scout shot.
That's fine.
Yeah, it's okay. I thought it was a drop, to be honest. But no, it's okay. This is a decent pick. It takes out a lot of the aggression, still stunts the wings, clips them off immediately. So Mathis now stuck in a corner. Huge shot there onto Nikki as well.
Oh my god, that was perfect by Flick. Like, he tried for 10 seconds to just engulf Mathis there with flames, but eventually, you know, nothing was really changed. But only 10 minutes to go and a 2-0 lead.
It's no Uber advantage for the Enderpearls either. That's what they really wanted. But unfortunately, as excited as I got about that bloke pick, it still meant that the scout couldn't get in. They couldn't get that sort of initial distance that they wanted. So even Ubers now have to find some kind of an answer. We've been here for 5 minutes already. The Enderpearls could not break that last hold. Samurai just holding on once again. This right side spam is so hard for Mathis to break. He's in and instantly shut down.
Instantly back into the respawn queue. You can maybe add just another 3 minutes or now 2.5 minutes to the clock that we've previously seen the red team's last point. Flick is walking forward a bit, just really surveilling it all. Also Sylvs checking in spawn, no off class either to worry about, and we talked about it before. Basically, they were able to nullify the situation by some Andy shenanigans, but I think a cookie cutter attempt is what we're strapping in for now.
Yeah, so looking for some kind of soldier aggression to sort of pressure out the Uber force, perhaps from Eon, and then the counter push to come in would be sort of the initial recipe, some kind of double soldier sentry spam to try and break the hold, but sort of immediately you can see, like Mathis is trying to play this right side, but there's just so much pressure onto him. He can't really get forward, so instead the answer is just going to be an Andy solo.
And also Flick was just dying there. It was a long over duration. Auto staying in a bit too long as it was almost uncomfortable for him, but Andy already on the last point, and SNH has to come closer to the point. Luka Doncic is still trying to plug some very juicy pipes forward, and Enderman seems to be... The heavy is still up. He's still up. Still up.
It's 13 HP. Andy's found himself a nice little soldier frag. Huge little shot there onto the soldier as well. This is an Uber not coming forwards because Auto is dead. And so suddenly I think Eon has managed to stave this off, but just barely. I cannot believe that Heavy doesn't die. He was on 13 HP for so long.
I mean, they permutated their own resources there, so Luca is, well, being finished off by Mac in
Nikki?
the low area. Nikki is hiding, but he finds a 1v1 here against the scout. Dealt with, manhandled by SNH. 3 letters and 3 meat shots not even needed. 2 is enough.
So now on middle, this is Mac trying to aggress a little bit, right? This is 3 players down, and so the Enderpearls maybe it's getting a bit too big for their breaches here for the moment. Gonna have to back off, and then look at Mac. He wants to push this forward. He knows he has a 50% hard. This is an Uber coming straight in, and he has to do so much work.
Auto!
As unfortunately, he gets taken down, but Auto falls as well. So you trade a medic for a demoer, man, and I think that's okay, but look at the post Uber. Down 2 players, health bar's not looking too good. You have no positioning here on second. This is Eon called out. I think the Enderpearls are holding on.
That was really a fault lying within the communication. It was a wonderful auto pick, but Eon wanted to leave through choke. The rest of the players were still conglomerated up in Cafe, and they wanted to leave through Cafe, so that was just a split in the combo that really dearly cost them in the end. I definitely also liked how Flick just surfed it forward. You were thinking, yeah, Mac jumps in with the stickies, but the funny thing was Flick had even more height gain because he just surfed the sticky, basically, U-Bot. But in any case, you know what? It's a marginal Uber advantage here for Auto, but they are at least in the driving seat.
They need to keep up this momentum. 7 minutes left on the map, and they need to claw back 2 rounds to just even take it to a golden cap. So for the moment, it's Luca Enderman looking to spam forwards. The soldier is sent in behind. A lot of damage dealt, but it's Nikki falling down first. It is an absolute crunch in Cafe, however, as 3 players are taken down on both sides. It is just Andy trying to win this on his own on second, and he does a decent job taking down the demo. It's Eon falling as well, so just below, in left behind, and he cannot find these rockets. Finds one onto Andy, but not the second one, as he runs in and on his own sets his team up for this last push.
But the spawns are up in 1 second, and SNH is already in the heavy Uber sky. They're trying to cleave someone in thunder here as Uber comes out. Andy already shot down low prior on a 5k right now. They have to focus on the cap. They have to focus on some flags. There's already Flick coming in, but once more a 2-1. The spawners were coming in. The Uber pop was out. SNH, though, I think, was the pivotal part. He was riddled with all those projectiles flung his way, basically instantly melted away, and, you know, they are narrowing down this lead.
Andy waking up a little bit, feels like massive play there onto second, just completely busting down Mac, and then almost getting that kill, followed up onto Eon. That means that now momentum might be back in, might be swinging in the way of the Enderpearls. They're going to need another mid-fight victory here if they want to keep it going. 5.5 minutes. We have to keep looking at that timer. But his early spam from Luca as he's shot all the way back by double soldier aggression, but it doesn't find the kill. So much damage actually onto SNH as well. There, just one flick is up. Auto is down here onto the mid-fight as well, so he's just going to have to try and do his best to sort of delay. Eon gonna be spawning just for the moment here. 5 seconds still left on Auto. Slight advantage here onto this mid-fight. But Flick is still in behind. The rocket can't quite catch him. But he needs to just continue delaying. Make sure that Eon can get this push. But this is Andy coming in through behind, in onto Eon. But this time cannot find the meat shots. Down to 90 HP. At least for the moment. Nothing further happening. It's Sills bombing in. Actually, Auto down. And so we're just going to keep this fight going. Eon found himself massive advantage. Cannot believe that this is happening so far. Eon, with the surf, manages to keep it alive. There's still one scout in Cafe. Has not been spotted, but there's a player pressuring him from the other side in through Valley as well. This is a lot of damage. This is a crunch that can come out from the Enderpearls here. They're going to try this on their own to just break it forward, and it is massive rockets by Mathis who gets that force in onto Eon, gets him taken down, but they're losing so many players for this. Auto has to sit on middle, and there's 4 fragging classes up 5 for the side of the Samurai, so they're just going to continue to bust forwards and try to get this kill onto Auto, but Andy finds the first. Luca finds the second. It is 1 kill onto the enemy demo man, but Andy is keeping his medic alive for now. As they continue to swim forwards, SNH is going to go down, but the kill from Auto, it's not going to come forwards. It's SNH with that cleanup kill. So even Ubers still once more. 4 minutes left. This map timer, so much has happened. Both teams sending it forwards in onto the aggression here.
I was in the Twilight Zone. I think I'm back here. Anyway, Bloke is still routing some players there in the front lines, basically being shot by Andy, who now scurries out alive. Oh, dodges that rocket. Quite scarily so. But as we just hit 3 minutes and 33 seconds, apparently, I'm privy once more to this matchup and to this game. It's an Uber advantage for Ion, and it is a whole lot, 1 point more kept for the blue team.
So much went wrong there for the Enderpearls. They had so many advantages to take as well, and unfortunately, just barely unable to keep Auto alive. That means that now there's a massive advantage for Eon, and unfortunately, the Enderpearls haven't grasped sort of the nature of their position at all. I think the optimal play there is to just try to go full force as soon as they can. Try to get in, take space before Eon has his defensive Uber charge. Now, 3 minutes left on the clock. Even Ubers, I think it's looking like Auto building up to. You're going to have to find a way to break this second stalemate. Not quite as hard as last, but still very difficult.
You have to make some very aggressive players here, the red ones, recoil as to enable not only a lot of space, but also some entrance way here on Eon, who has definitely been on his medic performance, peak performance almost here. Mech is already charged, so low on HP. Andy basically wants more manhandling, but it serves them having to pop significantly later. Andy's still not out of harm's way yet, and so is Auto, basically all being cleaved asunder.
2 minutes left. It's so hard now. They have one player in behind, I believe. They can't find anything at all. Instead, they're just forced to back out here. So all 6 players now for the Samurai up. They're just looking to claim control of mid. And it's looking harder and harder. Sniper from Nikki does not find the shot onto Eon, onto any other player either. He's going to just stay up on this for now, sitting on balcony, but it is looking desperate. 2 minutes to go. And they need an answer fast. It's still within the realm possibility, but they need to find some kind of a team wipe here onto the Samurai.
We have to draft up a mandate, and Nikki is setting that mandate upon him. He is one of the few select operatives who can still claim some forward ground here, but there's a double soldier nuke here into the valley side, into green, and still not out of harm's way yet. There was a perfect Mathis rocket, and eventually Auto keeps alive. Eon does not flick in on the second point, but only really being annoying, ticking down time.
They have to try and get this kill onto Auto, who's doing such a good job. Oh my god! With the arrow in onto Silves as well. It's a scout trying to go forward, and look at him, we can't find the shot. This is Auto in a 2v1 for the moment. There's no teammates here. And he has to do this on his own. He gets the pack. He gets the kill as well. What is happening?
He even got the kill. He got the kill himself. I mean, he had some 2 or 3 players.
It's full ad.
It's full ad as well. They can just charge forward here. They have enough time. It's a comeback story brewing.
They have to keep it going, though. They need to maintain control of this momentum. So for the moment, it's Andy just taking this solo straight in through lower. And unfortunately, the enemy just a little bit too far back. Soldier can bomb in now, and it looks like he just might find that kill onto Eon. So suddenly, 3 players down on the side of the Samurai make that 4, and they are not in on second. They're losing control of mid. They might be getting rolled all the way to last.
It is definitely a possibility right now. Look how long the spawns here. 20 seconds. And Meth is also on the last point here. They're not going to spawn at all. It's going to be
oh my god.
What a absolute comeback of felony quantities. What a comeback story. That was incredible.
I cannot believe that Auto managed to hold that round together. Unbelievable plays from him there. In on second. The first kill onto Sills was a very nice bow, but the follow-up there onto the scout as well, absolutely masterful there. As he's going to send us to a golden cap. That was so close.
I don't want to go hardcore on the superlatives, but I mean, I already talked about it, yeah? You know, got one frag, you called it out with a bolt onto the scout before that, charging him, or soldier, I even think. But then the second scout, you know, just a scout came in, and the rest of his team spawned. They came in time, but Auto still claimed that frag, and he just showed, I don't even need you. I'm going to accept you, and we're going to go into a golden cap round. But I need to catch my breath a little bit, and wanted to say in the first 10 minutes, what was for me the defining feature, that some players there, especially Andy again, or even Mathis, honestly, by the Andy team, they were able to, you know, with 1 or 2 few select operatives, turn that around and not be backcapped. I felt like more teamwork was definitely involved by the Samurais as they work together better as a group. But apparently it is just the blue team setting into their own endemic environment, which is we are just instantly in, all the way, full throttle, Nikki and Andy, so aggressive together.
I'm realizing it's such a deadly combo as well, this scout duo. And then I think it's something to not to forget is Andy has a bit of pre-existing synergy with Auto as well, subbing in last season's Premiership final there instead, just sort of coming in instead of Thomas, making it look absolutely fine. So now this time around, it's going to have to keep looking fine here. We slowly start inching our ways into the golden cap here, Tomato. We've seen a few mids between these two teams on this first map. How do you think this is going to go?
I think it's going to go the way of the Samurais, honestly, because this definitely looked better for them on the mids since Bloke and Sylphs were very, very aggressive, were very dominant and able to keep alive. In the first mid that they so comprehensively won, Bloke basically nuked them all apart on the choke, and on the second mid that they won, which was the fourth mid in total, was when Sylphs, then rebombed and recycled themselves into the fight. So I'm expecting the red team here to win, but if they don't kill Otto, then I think they can definitely budge and even hold on to second. But maybe they can also just switch up their mentality or their tactics. But what I wanted to say before, honestly, I like to segment games into 3 thirds. In the very first third, 5 minutes, amazing dynamic game. The second third, bit calmed down, but apparently the third was all where the action was actually at.
I feel like, to be honest, it's anyone's game. Momentum in the Enderpearl's favor. You have to feel it has to weigh on your mentality at least a little bit on the Samurai that you let that slip. You're performing, I think, better than some would expect, to be honest, sitting second place at the moment in the tables as well, above the Maggots. But in a match like this, when it gets this close, you're going to have to show that you have what it takes to overcome these odds. They are looking not only to fend off their second place here in the season, but also, of course, going to land ! Donate in the chat, by the way. But we are live here onto that final little mid here of Sunshine. The last week of the regular season.
Amplify the action, as in the last 20 seconds they really were able to bring it back here on the Ender Pearls. But there's a double soldier nuke here once more. Slips and Bloke, but Otto, he dodges it out. Another one! But it hits the wall, and that is a third soldier, a third player rather, that you cannot dodge out. Now it's all on Ian having to keep himself alive. Very weak blue players.
It's SNH on the 4K there. Soldier in behind. It's also excellent job, but realizing that there is just unfortunately too many players onto him. Mathis is in behind, catches a respawning Bloke there, but SNH managing to find that cleanup kill in the end. 4K for him on the mid. That sets up his team so nicely. Samurai, massive advantage here. It's giving a little bit of space here for the Enderpearls to set up some traps onto second. How long can they stay in here onto balcony? It's going to get pressured out very early.
A decent damage though on the players trying to enter this balcony, but now the medic comes close. Maybe they can even force some more eyes to it. Rottischer even down and below, but lo and behold, down and below once more is where the red team is now conglomerating. And let's send
80%.
Let's send it straight into the last point.
8% here onto Auto. It's actually quite close, but it's even closer on the cap. They're just on it. And unfortunately for the Enderpearls in the final seconds, it's a lapse of judgment. Ultimately, they just do not have players on that point. Everyone sends it forward. Auto is like seconds and minutes away from getting that final little Uber pop to hold on, but unfortunately, they're just not there in time. And there we go. The Samurai just barely skin of their teeth, crawl out of that one, claim those first 2 points, and make it so much harder for anyone else to get second place this season.
Now you see why it's called Team Fortress and not Auto Fortress. Auto can nail you into a golden cap scenario, but not even Auto can live 3 to 4 players basically solo bombing him and forcing him and focusing him there on that mid fight. I mean, very well and ineptly even kept himself alive and just surfed it out, but eventually that was too much to deal with, and the rest of the players were too far forward, especially then being, just subtracting health, too weak then to inflict on Eon. SNH still just running around basically full health and cleaning everything up, being on a 4K at the end of that. And I'm not going to say I said the red team is going to win that mid-fight, but they won that mid-fight. In any case, though, I don't want to pound the rubble. I said Auto and Andy and Nikki were, for me, one of the most prominent factors here, but it would be discouraged to call out like one single player on the red team. I felt like they felt to me a bit more like a team.
Yeah. I think for me, it's also sort of, they managed to arrive to the conclusion of the mid so much more cleanly than their opponents as well, right? Auto, so far back, trying to deal with all of these players bombing forwards, and SNH is able to reconnect with Eon, clean up those last little kills that are so very low, and he just manages to find those shots where he needs them, clean that 1-0, and so now, going into map number 2 here, Process, Samurai almost lost it. They almost lost it in those final little seconds. The nice mid-fight victory. They managed to successfully, for once, roll it in onto last as well. Themselves that first set of 2 little points there. Still bang on race here for second place. I think it gets harder and harder and harder for the Enderpearls to end up anything other than 4th. Haven't done the math, but I assume it's close.
Before I go into the real maths here, by the way, on the... Well, let's go to the logs first. You have to rub your dreamy little small eyes, Twitch chat, because I have a very rare sighting for you. Auto on 14 deaths. That is quite seldom that you see such a large death number on such a not only seasoned medic, but some might argue one of the best medics definitely in recent memory. But it goes down a lot. 8 Medigun pops out of him, 9 out of Eon. I mean, even still, Eon, I was lauding, I was praising, I was just putting him onto such a high pedestal, how well he was able to preserve his own life, but even then goes down 9 times. So in conclusion, not a very fun game for medics that, just get rushed 24/7.
There was those sort of 5-6 minutes of stalemate onto last, but I think most of it was a sort of super high octane, chaotic gameplay. Unfortunately for the Enderpearls, I think the Samurai just managed to navigate that a little bit better. They're also kind of the instigators of it, to be honest. They were the ones setting each other in and just kept on pressuring on in the end. Enderpearls had to kind of respond in kind with the timer running out for them, bringing it to the golden cap. But I think Logs demonstrating quite well. I think a guy that talked a little bit about, but overall, SNH having himself a mighty fine game. I think we're looking at at least in my eyes, right? You look at the top 2 scouts in Europe, and you would say Thomas, and you would say Boulder, right? But I think Andy has sort of over the course of this year made his case as maybe belonging in that club. SNH one-upping him, not bad.
It's always just the probing attempt, really, to see how aggressive you can be. But yeah, sometimes Scout isn't even a class that is so obvious for a one-trick pony. I mean, deathmatch does carry you to quite some margin, but obviously you also need to have the understanding of the game. Some gamers and players are, valuable for showing up 1 or 2 games, and then people are already lauding, oh, that's a huge prodigy, that's amazing, but then they sort of fall down the ranks a little bit once more, but especially when you play on a Pocket Scout, you have to have a huge understanding of the game. But we have a huge understanding that Process probably packs as much action, even though that is very hard to contest with a Sunshine that we just witnessed. But apparently it was a fake going live. Yep. So it gives me the time, in double time, to introduce the Samurais had 4-6-0 wins during the regular round robin season. Unfortunately, Global Yeti dropped out, so that's only 3-6-0 wins, and 1 tie versus Mandem, and a 5-1 loss versus Dirty Maggots, while the Enderpearls had 2-6-0 wins, 1-6-0 loss versus Mandem, and 2 ties versus Jury Guns and Dirty Maggots, respectively. So the 2 storylines I want to point out: Enderpearls, only on a 4th spot, so a bit of the underdog here, I'd say, but they were the only team to take real points off of Dirty Maggots this season, where they didn't just straight out win the Maggots, that is. And on the Samurais, they just had more wins in total.
I think for me, the big defining story is that Mandem Mandem had to face the wrath of that Samurai product that came up in their official. Mm-hmm. They just they're looking good in the first round, but then the Samurai, they just have something on that product map, and they managed to eke those 3 points out of Mandem. They're the only ones you go to those tables. They have a single map loss, and it is to the Samurai. Sort of, I think, what's carrying them over to the second place, over teams like the Maggots and like the Enderpearls, who were not able to do anything against Mandem. But Might
You
be...
think they would rejoice at the onset of Koth process? Anyway, it's CP process in any case. I'm not trying to brew anything up, but once more now, the action is only ever increasing as process is now on the horizon, as it was a nail-biter on the very first map going to the golden cap, but eventually the samurai is able to slice that victory out for themselves. But the first mid-fight on process is where we're heading.
Mac already down to 100 HP there in the beginning of the mid. Bloke taking decent damage as well. And this is Mathis with a very high bomb. A lot of very good damage onto SNH. It's going to be quite hard for him to play the game for the moment. But he just gets cleaned up. And so Sylvs now with a counter bomb does a lot of damage to the enemy soldiers who drop down so very low. They're not finding any kills, unfortunately, now. Just coming out barely. Eon
so much more space
still both alive.
So much more space, but Sylphs is eradicated of those trades. I want to say so much more space, but Andy is clopping them all in. Eon, the only lone survivor, but probably has to killbind here. Yes, he does finish himself off, blows himself off the environment. But I was talking about it. The red team had better positioning, but a crucial sticky on a high ground hit and another player falling down. Also, Nicky has PTSD after that mid being a double bombed by a double soldier, but well, he survives and his team lives.
His team lives, and now SNH onto the sniper. Something we didn't talk much about in that map number 1, but the SNH sniper might be one of the scariest in Europe. So Eon on the crit streak as well, just to have anything in regards to this last hold, as it is a huge positional advantage here for the side of the Ender Pearls, who have massive advantage here as well. Can come in any second, actually coming in already.
Auto surfing the 4 rockets there from the Sentry gun, but they can't really deny anyone passage here, as Nicky already is just parading on that last point and even shooting Sylphs down. There's no one really dealing with it. It was the combo play that in the front was a bit more used as a distraction. Andy now with Auto, and the point so close to being kept. It's basically double medic, double scout with double medic and double scout, but we do have Mech coming closer into the fight. It's a crits finally tearing them all asunder.
It is Flick finding those little frags at the end to keep his team in the round. Everyone now respawning, and no one really up for the side of the Enderpearl. They can't contest the second. So for the moment, it is Mac pushing forwards. A lot of damage dealt, but this is a soldier bomb coming forwards. And Mathis could do a lot of damage. Instead, he's shot into the skybox, pistoled down by Flick as he continues his rampage here.
Flick just stole potential highlight air shots from his soldiers, but now we are entering this mid-fight here. Both teams have high ground control, but Andy already is leaping into Bloke, but eventually there's so much damage going in front of their own sewer area. Auto protects himself, is though charged now by a soldier, but he backs out away from it. So much progress, so much field progress on bombing soldiers.
I feel like if Silds knew how low those enemy players in second were, he might have been able to aggress forwards. Everyone down like below 100 HP. Quite scary indeed. But now SNH, it's an even Uber stalemate, so he's going to come on the sniper. Flick, though, instantly falls to the pipe from Luca Enderman just through choke. And look at this, they're looking to send it through IT.
Luca Enderman wasn't even looking at the pipe. He was just trusting into his own mechanics before that, and he's basically not an Enderman, but a creeper for the enemy team. But who is explosive after all? It is Andy now charging basically progressively forward by himself, but the same SNH sniper rather brought to the front lines. Mathis down.
SNH loves himself a bit of sniper process, but he just gets taken down here. So much aggression coming forwards out of the Enderpearls, and they're trying to find these kills. Somehow, Eon is still alive in sewer as he sits proudly in choke. It's a nice little bow onto the scout as well. Luca Enderman cannot find the pipe. So Eon staying alive, Auto falling as well. This is the Enderpearls on the back foot. It is Samurai already capping second, and they're going to be looking to send this on to last. Eon, big advantage here as well.
Eon had no business in even peeking around the corner. Just showed the disrespect to Luca Enderman, who also just emptied his clip there before, but now they're building their own Uber advantage forward.
Building an Uber advantage, at least for a little while longer. But this is it's a hard one to weasel your way out of. Now, SNH even managed to go behind, get in on those spawners, go off the sniper. You don't necessarily want to be pushing with that. I actually don't think, to be honest, as a process last, I don't think it's the end of the world having a sniper sitting in lobby posed up. So the rest of your team bombs through. You can find the shot. It's obviously still good. Obviously just preferring that point pressure play that have been netting to the Samurai at least a few rounds, right? Even the Golden Cap victory, it's just them storming directly onto the point there. Looks like probably a player disconnected as we just had to pause on post.
Okay, I thought I was alone in the Twilight Zone once more. Like, I'm just never sure. I had some technical difficulties. I didn't even have the pause timer coming in. It just didn't even say pause for me in the in-game chat. But yeah, I don't know what is up with this game already. It feels so weird. I can only really describe it as I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone. Honestly, it's so bizarre.
Strange mystery things happening. They're all centered around the weird and wacky samurai known as Flick. We're staring at his paw at the moment. So now we're unpaused, so should be going back into this round. This is, once again, massive advantage here for the samurai as Eon almost has 100% Uber. This is a heavy up. Sentrigon as well, and you can see that Uber is going to be led by Mac here straight away in through 3.
Let's be the leading force here, as a lot of glowing players are already glowing in red. Sentry gun down, very, very quickly. Cutter behind the pillar hidden now. The point is kept a little bit by the scout, but the soldiers right now re-nuke onto that point. Mac down, shot down to pieces by Scattergun shots, but the point is so close to being kept actually, as there is Sylphs already leaping in once more. It is thought of well.
Oh, but Rochester actually goes down there. SNH manages to find the kill. So fortunately for the Samurai, they just don't manage to find the positioning in time, as the Enderpearls manage to hold on to the last point, and now they're going to be looking to try and push forwards in onto second. This is Auto, though, staring from a massive bomb from Bloke, who unfortunately connects absolutely no rockets onto the enemy medic.
Yeah, I mean, it looked very decent. I think he just shot himself up so high he couldn't even go any higher, but unfortunately, perpendicular dominance doesn't always wield the same results. Now it is Sylphstow bombing the enemy team's choke. Rotisha receives Stow in kind with Nikki through the IT area. They're already charging behind. Rotisha so far in behind, actually.
Yeah, Rochester's in and he's finding frags alongside Mathis as well. He can just keep forcing these players back. He can meet the enemy medic in PC, get the Uber Force for absolutely free. And so now, for the Samurai, they're going to have to face an enemy Uber coming forwards, and they do not have anything to respond to this on second.
Bloke had a skip jump behind and still has a scuffle in the backlines with Nikki. Unfortunately, Scout wins, and they haven't claimed the second though, which means they cannot cap last. The Mac timed out before, by the way. That was the cause of the pause, but once more now, Andy might be the cause of some future problems for the team holding last, as there's also the second not even capped as of yet.
I love this bin play coming in from the Enderpearls, taking so much space, not allowing any kind of last setup to come out before it might be too late.
Heavy.
You can see the health bars though on both sides so low. Also caught out by the heavy actually. And so Nikki unable to push forwards anymore. They just do not have the health to deal with this heavy. Stays up. And so, in a grace of God, I think, perhaps, Eon now, massive advantage here on last.
They were raising a host on last and making a claim for themselves there. I also like this aggressive play, but the problem is if that point on second doesn't get capped, you can't cap the last point, and that was sort of the downfall there. Also, Nikki's hiding a little bit in the lower area, and they think they just want to all group and re-nuke on Eon, as he's not out of harm's way yet. No, they are just popping this Uber forward here.
Oh, but Mac actually ends up falling. He goes forward so aggressively, but Sills with the rockets and onto Enderman and onto Auto as well. Eon trying to stay alive here in sewers, but it is such a huge collapse coming forwards. So consolation prize for the Enderpearls is that they are going to be able to find that enemy medic, but they lose control of their mid. Nikki is going to spawn with Auto, so slight advantage. It's going to be meeting them in the other end, but they lost so much in that fight.
Excuse my feral voice lines in the back, but it's insane. Like, we have so many high octane 6 versus 5, 5 versus 6, 5 versus 5 situations in close quarters where it's really difficult to even say and predict who's coming out on top, since it is a lot of deathmatch compact into a close and enclosed area basically. But the end result is really simple. It's only a measly 10% Uber advantage here for Otto, who was also the very first victim, and Eon went down sizably later. He did have a forward spawn though, so this is why it's basically even.
Yeah, even Ubers means that no one really looking to push. Still 0-0 after the first 8 minutes of this second game. You can see the Enderpearls now sort of pushing forwards, actually looking to do some bit of aggression, coming in onto mid here. This is an Uber pop from both sides, and this trade is so weird. Look, there's a lot of damage to a bunch of invincible players, but look at the post-Uber health. It is horrific for the Enderpearls. Both Demo and Medic so low, and that's going to allow Sylphs to push right forwards, but both caught out in PC.
So close here. Enderpearls are still lucky and happy enough to still survive. The Sylphs is still in the backlines though, causing a little bit of headaches here, and it is Ion and Mac in the forefront. Can they stay alive? Sylphs once more rebombs, but a pipe and a shot.
Yeah, that is just completely shut down there. Sylphs had a really nice position, but unfortunately no team really there to support him from the other side with pressure coming in through choke. So he has to go for that sack play in onto Auto, doesn't find it.
Honestly, by the way, I just think Enderpearls thought they had 10% or 20% more advantage, but they did not. That's the issue. And now there's a huge pipe from Luka Doncic, from Luka Enderman. Again, creeper for the enemy team. Just explosive, so explosive. Nicky charges forward, really akin to what we've seen out of Andy before, but 3 players down, only losing Luka.
Yeah, this is really, like, they're down a demo, but it's not the end of the world for them. Mathis has a really nice bomb angle coming forwards. Eon has to take this trade with SNH super aggressively, as they are going to get the kill onto Mathis. The shiny players standing in front of them in choke, they cannot progress any more forwards. So Nicky's going to attempt to spring a trap here.
I know that Twitch chat is probably going crazy. Otto not only milked it out, but he went down to 4 HP. And then just popped it, you know? Casually. Casually.
No big deal. Well championed, by the way.
For a reason. Anyway, amplifying a bit more of the flanks here maybe, but Bloke is only really just walking around. Both Ubers are up. It's 10 minutes that have passed by. It's a 0-0 scoreline, but I think that was really like the 4 HP that mattered there. If Auto drops, that's a completely different ballpark, but they're still trying to pressure cook this so much damage, but Nicky ultimately is the one victim of this fight.
Yeah, with Nicky going down, that means the pressure cooker is put back in the cupboard. Can't be used anymore. Sylphs actually trades as well, but Luka! Oh my god!
The trap!
Got a bit of a triple double here. He's in so many air shots, a trap as well. Massive. One soldier can bomb in, try to get into Auto, but he lives that any day of the week. And so suddenly, disaster for the Samurai. They're back on last.
What a slaughter that was. I mean, that was 3 picks basically, and you know, +2. So basically 6 picks if you want to calculate them like that, because a drop is +2. Anyway, that leverages their game so significantly, honestly. Going to probably charge through the 5-4 area now. Opting for 4, and here it goes. Sentry gun only level 2. It's down now. There are only 3 stickies there laying on the little bit of front line. And he alone into the panic room, but there is just so much space. So much point advantage by Otto on 44 points, and even Otto getting a frag there in the midst of it.
It is just those traps from Luka Enderman finding the clean kill onto the enemy combo in the chaos that was that trade. They just come out on top. The pressure into last is unrelenting. No one anywhere near that point, as Nicky can just sit on it for absolutely free. Everyone of the Samurai is stuck in their panic room. As you're saying, back on middle now. Mac needs to find a lot of damage here.
What a masterclass of a game, honestly. The potency, I think, has still not fully unveiled itself. Mathis already taking up to the sky here and charging a little bit with his own surf, but it is not him really leaving out. Mac is claimed. Auto down though, shot into pieces by SNH.
Eon is so low in Sewer though. There's so many fragging classes still up for the Enderpearls, and they have the HP to match. Luka Enderman just hit every single pipe, as that is the 5th one this game. Roger can't find the kill onto Eon. Nicky has to do this on his own in a 1v2. Gets the pack, but that is a scout right in. He's trying to get the kill onto Eon. Oh, so much damage dealt, but he doesn't quite find it. Oh my god. The fireworks.
I barely ever say this, but absolute cinema. What on earth? Luka, absolute highlight reel, just rewind it back 10 to 20 times every single time. Like the sticky trap kills, the pipes in midair, the double pipe now in midair while he himself was airborne, and now though some more players are airborne here, Rotisha already taken up to the sky once more onto Eon, but serves it out so perfectly.
So he's all the way back now, right? Look at the Enderpearls, they're back onto last. Eon has an advantage, but also already 80%. I actually don't know. This is such a close push, as they're going to come in stuck in panic room, as the cap hasn't even come forward. So Mac has to take a lot of space. Such down already, but look at Auto 100% now, and he can counter pop this Uber. So Sos is forced to bomb in, try to get this force out, and he does manage to get it. Andy though is chasing forwards, kills the enemy medic. There's a scouting connector, and he cannot find much of anything. He's trying to get this kill to Auto, and somehow, some way, it's SNH still alive. Auto is in one alone. the arrows are not enough. And I think somehow the Samurai, they managed to clean up the enemy med.
Yeah, it was Bloke also in panic, just absolutely uncontested on decent enough health to then come in and reap the fruits of all those weak players, even still, and he's still on 30 HP, but you said it, Otto went down, so once more he respawns, but, well, 30% Uber disadvantage.
30% Uber disadvantage here. Eon is sitting mighty fine on middle, but he's still a round down. Half the game time has disappeared from us already. The Samurai, it looked like they had such a nice position. That push was so aggressive, but unfortunately for them, also just too far back. You can't find the follow-up. The follow-up fight is difficult. They don't manage to find the kill until it's just way too late now. Stuck trying to push it onto second. Still going to spot out the stickies, but no real play coming out quite yet. But you can see them setting up the soldier bomb.
Mech is in the sky. Box, basically.
They popped?
Yeah, they did pop. They found nothing of note, though. Rotisher's the only one disassociating Sylphs from his own live subscription. But eventually, even still, they claimed the second point for themselves. And now I think it's on the Enderpearls probably trying to just push out with a massive 70% Uber advantage.
There's a soldier hiding right on resub, and it's going to make it so hard for Alter to come out. As Bloke actually just managing to dodge and juke and jive, and he's somehow still alive. Even pressuring the soldier can maybe try to play for a bit of a re-aggression, just like at the edge, but he's going to get taken down ultimately. But this is Mathis still now with that one frag. You can see the Enderpearls. They're looking to keep rolling this forwards because Eon still doesn't have this Uber.
Otto didn't even have to pop, but huge rockets here on the entranceway by the red soldier. He did what the blue soldier did beforehand, and the usual suspects are still, well, keeping this Uber in the hand because Otto didn't pop until at all so far. So it's the 10% here that separate them, but by the sheer abode of just holding onto the Uber charge, they netted themselves 2 points in their own favor, and it's still a one pick here. Sylphs in the respawn queue as we speak, and the second point here is already a little bit busted open by the blue team.
It's so much damage dealt on the second, but somehow the Samurai, they're holding on. Everyone kind of sacks in to try and get this kill onto Eon, but instead, this is a 5-man, and it's just not what you want to see when you're trying to hold on the second.
Scout. We've seen that before. We have seen that before.
He's trying to hold on, but he's 15 HP, and he gets the Uber. He has to pop it. Oh my god!
It's fine. It's fine, SNH. You got the force. It's fine.
Oh, but it hurts so much on the ego there. He takes it out on like 10 HP, by the way. He could have died. And there we go. He is dead.
It's fine. The boogeyman is dead. Do not worry. Luca is still in the front line, so very ferocious, and Eon is surfing it out so perfectly once more, not taking eventual crater damage, but scouts are still lethal. But the problem is only one player up and one additional spawner, and that sets the curtain. Probably, no, not if Arthur
Nikki
and Nikki have something else to say.
Oh my god!
How are they clutching? What?
I was about to say, unfortunately for Nikki, the one spawner is not a DM class, but Auto just manages to find the damage anyway. He's doing so much work for his team. Nikki, of course, finds every single possible meat shot to get the damage necessary to hold on to that point. But it is Auto following up with those arrows that could just mean that somehow the Enderpearls are holding on here.
What? That was insane. Like, those were 3 really healthy damage classes from the Samurais, but they were eradicated by one scout that just had an auto spawner, but apparently this is all you need, and on the off chance that this tranquilizes down, we are opting and orbiting our eyes toward Mech, who was already pre-shot low a bit on HP, so he has to momentarily leave the fight as they're only replastering themselves with long idle spam, but now it's Mathis nuking in. He's shot down though, flick on a 5k before he perishes, and Eon pop because he only had 90%.
Yeah, that is just such expert play there for the Enderpearls coming in
picks up the minigun
with a clean little 2-shot. It's still trying to bump forward to get that post-kill onto Auto, but they get that Uber charge, and they can keep going now. They killed Eon. They have another advantage to work with.
He picked up. He was the scavenger. Otto is just doing it all. I don't want to laud this guy anymore. I've been singing praises. Come on, Luca, I get a 5k once again, or a 6k, but there's already Flick on the sniper class trying to scope out the angles through the one area. Doesn't find the hero shot.
Doesn't find the hero shot. Has to back onto last, and unfortunately now he needs to find something else on this heavy. So this is once again a huge advantage on the side of Auto. You can see them already. The Enderpearls looking to make this 2-0.
They're already trying. I mean, the point is really, really open here since there's no real Sticky's on it, and now though left is where we have to orbit our eyes toward, as Flick is down, Luca as well. Andy is already so close here to the point where Luca is not down at all. Sorry, mind you, and they are just 4 versus 4 right now.
They're trying to go forward. Nikki doing so much damage onto the enemy combo. Their health bars are so low, but Luca Henneman unfortunately not finding the final little pipes. So Nikki's hiding in a corner. He sat in on top, and he has to do it all. There is no one on this cap, and it is so close. But instead, it is Flick spawning and just barely cleaning it up. So they are now going to be getting onto the second, and it will be fine. They will have an Uber ad, but it is mighty close.
I feel like you can recast this game 3 times and you probably wouldn't even catch all the action. You also had a demo 1v1 in the lobby there. That was also very close. Andy in the forward spawn here on Sniper, but already being charged by Sylphs. No one dies from this encounter, but there's also a very hefty approach here from the soldiers toward the enemy team's choke area. And 30% Uber advantage, still separate from Otto from having Eon. Pops it so safe.
This is completely fine for the Underpulse. Trading a second for an Uber advantage is completely fine. They have this now. They're looking to actually push this forwards. It's an Uber straight onto Luca, and he has to set this forwards into choke. It is an absolute nuke, but it is only 1 kill onto Bloke. So this scout gets absolutely destroyed. While Silvers is in behind, he gets cleaned up by Nikki, and these blue scouts are just making it happen.
Not able to apprehend the last point this time by cheeky back cap shenanigans. The ulterior motives were laid bare in front of our eyes, but the enemy team is set on a probation here as there's a sniper, a red one in the forward spawn. Bloke not really finding an angle here eventually, and the Uber advantages have once more flip-flopped.
It is a huge advantage once again for Eon, but you can see he has to pop this so quickly because of that choke aggression coming out from the Underpearls. Uber coming forwards, it's going to do a lot of damage to Scout and eventually find Andy Dude. But Uber for a Scout, you take that trade any day, they're going to have to keep this pressure rolling if they want to follow up with any sort of taking anything out of this. Auto still only 70%. This is Soldier who is wide open, and it is left bombing forwards, just trying to make space. It doesn't unfortunately manage to generate much for his team, so they're going to have to back off. Nothing in tow. Auto with an Uber of his own and a Soldier pick to work with as well.
Good and very adept eye and keen eye there from the red team to not serve to the sunken cost fallacy there. Bloke was in, he was down, but they also feature Uber disadvantage, so they're just all out leaving, and they have a Bloke spawner, which means it's a safe trade out. You basically trade your midpoint to not be wiped and have even Ubers now.
Even Ubers, but look at this Enderpose looking to try and pressure in through choke, find some kind of a little small chink in the armor while the enemy hasn't had time to set up fully.
Damage on Otto.
Forces damage actually onto everyone. Just sat back for the moment here, sitting on second. A lot of damage dealt.
It's a bit of a tranquil position there, but yeah, I mean, Otto was shot down to half HP, then just went out, and the rest of the players followed in Tau. 1-0 scoreline for a blue team that is charging in right now. A little bit.
There's 8 minutes 30 left. There's not too much time. If the Samurai want to come back in this game, they're going to have to do it somehow quite soon. Also taking a lot of damage trying to approach this, as it's Andy going in for the solo. A lot of damage dealt. Uber forced out onto the enemy, but this solo scout is going to have to find a little bit more. Players stuck in rollout. This Samurai is completely out of the fight, but also unfortunately cleaned up by Flick, as he finds 2 resonates with another. These scouts on their own from both sides. Flick finds them all. One Rochester is left alive in IT, but he can't find much of anything. Soldier bombs him in, and unfortunately for the side of the Enderpearls, Flick has woken up.
Why did Bloke not leave this frag to Flick? That is so bad on the team cohesion. Flick could have gotten a 6k there. That was absolutely criminal, insane. Also helped out, by the way, by SNH just focus firing them all down. There's a sniper now from a rollout, only momentarily though. Nikki not able to nick someone in a nick of time, but eventually it is a rather large 40% Uber advantage. You can cook with that one.
This is their golden ticket to get back into this game. 7.5 minutes. Tie this one up for the final little 7 minutes of regulation. They need to make this work. Auto already on 70%. Uber popped straight in through 4 onto the gun. Instantly taken down is the dispenser. So you have to find the sentry gun sitting in an unorthodox position. Now the soldier bomb's coming forward. There's a lot of damage in onto panic room, but Auto still managed to live on just 40 HP as he approaches 100%. So now you're going to have to carry out this Uber. It's a heavy still up. Auto's in spawn, and he can't pop the Uber. It is Bloke in a corner who manages to get that kill, but everyone sacrifices their life for it. Flick hits a lot of damage. You lose your medic.
Yeah, that was very weird there. Honestly, we had to orbit our eyes also toward the rollout because there was a player, the red player in behind, I think it was a soldier, just trapped them in so they couldn't leave. A blue soldier, sorry. So Eon went down at the end of that, but at the advent, as you called that, 97% Uber on auto, but basically went down in the spawn. So that is a bit of a hefty hurdle to overcome. They have to grasp the concept, though, that this is still not over. Red team that still secures the midpoint has sort of, well, even enough Uber here to budge off and to be aggressive, and 6 minutes to play for.
6 minutes. So far, one soldier just sitting in IT. Silves and choke as well. It's going to have to find some kind of angle in onto the enemy, because right now the medic Ubers are very even. With only 6 minutes left in this game, the Ender Pearls can just run down the timer. Slow and steady, only due to the heroics of some of their players coming forwards. I say some of their players, pretty much all of them have had very impressive moments so far. Stalemate still for now. Flick spots a lot of stickies. He's going to clean them up.
Finally, I was already waiting for the Luca Eneman 4K with a drop involved, but anyway, Mac is also trying to plug some long-range stickies upon the enemy team's players, but now we surveil this Uber push here coming through under a little bit uncontested or unwatched here by a Flick. Very aggressive forward, which means the blue team has to multi, and Otto's even trapped out here in the one area.
It's the Flickle Rick, and he's in full form. Sitting, trying here. In onto roll up. Just can't fight this demo. Unfortunately, it's Nikki cleaning him up. There's a lot of damage still on second, and Luca Eneman is not in the fight, and he has to do it all here. The Devilman can finally regroup on this fight. Eon is quite low, but he's taken down by Nikki, who once again is finding these frags. Andy on 27 already. The Samurai, they're looking so good, and then in these final little moments, they get to the end, and they just crumble.
I looked at the enemy team's rollout for the blue team. Where were the rest of the 3 red players? I didn't see them at all. Like, it was basically set upon a solo scout there, and then Eon was also completely alone in the one area, but not eventually but eventually not being charged by a samurai. Anyway, that gives Ender Pearls a possibility to even more elongate, lengthen the necrology on the Reds and have a 2-0 on the score.
Eon's up on crits, but he will not have this in time for this last push that's come out of the Ender Pearls, looking to make this 2-0. Sechuan already taken down. A soldier has to bomb up, try to get some height, but it is Luca Eneman finding the kill into SNH. Mathis with a massive bomb forward. It is already 3 dead, and unfortunately this Flick Heavy is up alone in Panic Room as Luca Eneman sits uncontested. As he walks forwards, this Heavy has to come up onto the point, but he's only 50 HP. The shotgun is not enough. No! And the shot running through, but Mac in the final seconds is not on the point. And so unfortunately SNH is not up in time. Auto steals away the round. And now, 3.5 minutes left for the Samurai. They need to win a mid, and they need to win it now.
Absolute incredible sink, jump, skipping into panic by Rotisha. Eradicated Eon while being close to Uber, Eon that is, and then eventually Flick on last on a heavy switches to a shotgun, and apparently Otto then just stands on the point because he was also not really surveilled, unguarded, unwatched, but safeguarding the progress now on the high ground here are the Reds, since they have to be very aggressive. 3.5 minutes, you basically have to be non-stop forward to have any chance here at all, but it does not start with losing blow.
Yeah, there's just no positioning here for the Samurai on mid, and it is just a complete wet fart of a mid fight. They get nothing. They end up just sat in their own choke, unable to go anywhere. That early blow kill from Nikki is so huge, and now Flick has to go forwards on his own, but losing your demo man as well now spells disaster here for the Samurai. It is one bomb in from Roticha that finds another frag onto Sylves, as Luca Eneman could just keep pressuring now. No projectile classes left to hold them off.
Nikki's still in behind, and there's even Luca with the longest range pipe there. Sticky rather onto Flick, and Mathis forces this Uber. It was a volley, a flurry of players in behind, in the front, in behind, in the front. And now though, both Ubers do fade in his Eon with a scout still on the front line. Nikki solo weak on HP. Eventually, Eon tries to hop out. Bloke and Mac, they are still in behind. Who's behind who? Eon claims the frag for himself.
Oh my god, Roticha with a beautiful little rocket there from Sylves as well. Gets cleaned up, but Luca Eneman is still in IT. He can still try to go for this fight. Now he's stuck. the enemy players are pushing forwards. There's no spawners either. I think he's going to go for a little sticky trap there in rollout as the rest of the red team are on middle, trying to cap this up. Luca Eneman needs to just delay for time, as there's no way he lives this. But he is stalling back a player, so this scout in the air is actually going to manage to hold off this enemy soldier. And they lost Eon!
Yes, Mathis claims Eon in this disarray of action, so it seals the deal now. Only 90 seconds to go. And I loved how Luca Eneman just wanted to get another sticky trap, but the scout was aware of his follies, and now Silves is also plummeted out of the front line. Really, just a bolt, another one. Auto claims all the frags for himself. This is probably what I want to see. I think I already counted 4 to 5 there, or maybe 6 to 7. No, it definitely isn't the case, but I mean, 1 minute just banking on it, and I think a 3-0 is glaring up in front of their eyes.
Otto has 7 frags.
Okay.
He has 7 frags.
That's
I've
fine.
seen Capo Car pugs with less frags.
Anyway, let's maybe try to be not mundane and just focus on the last point here. Flick is still running trains on Luca Enderman, honestly, and Nicky also has Auto alive. Maybe Auto can have another frag here for himself, a 8th one for that. Nicky on top of a heavy. Very weird, the Andy and Nicky just teaming, ganging up on them, and yes, finally, a 3-0 lead. Eon doesn't die once more, only 30 seconds to go. But I didn't want to interrupt you, Wendu. Here's your stage for Trash Talk.
Nah, it was good. I just needed that one line. That's all I needed. Such an impressive last little cap as well. You can kind of see the wind firmly out of the Samurai sails there at the end. So the push just comes in. Andy and Nicky have been putting on an absolute clinic in this game. But, I mean, we've been singing his praises. Auto, oh my god. What a game.
Absolute fantastic. I think he was just enabled, by the way, 1 second and 0 the Chronicler's duty. No one gets points here in the final 4th round. Also some shots in the air are unleashed, but a very hefty, dominant performance by the Ender Pearls, and the Ender Man definitely also slated them early for success. Luca Enderman also very prominent there, but eventually I think it's very difficult to compete with that notion that Auto is the defining feature on the win-on process.
And this puts now the Samurai in jeopardy of their 2nd place. Dirty Maggots have yet to play their final Week 7 official. Should that come out as anything more than, I think, 4 points is all that the Dirty Maggots would need to tie that up and secure 2nd place for themselves. Yeah, no, they just need a single map win against Alien Workshop, who have been on a bit of a come-up. They've recruited a Voxy in onto their pocket scout position. Has been working out mighty fine for them, but suddenly no longer in control of their 2nd place anymore. And honestly, the Enderpearls as well, with those 4 points, they come out, at least for the moment, a tentative 3rd place on the tables.
Tentative, but you can tantamountably acclaim after all, since, I mean, yeah, points are points, but also performance is performance, and we saw how wonderful executed this performance was in this game. Honestly, I was not that ready for this much of a masterclass. I mean, Sunshine was very, very, very awesome, basically, and even though it is a 3-0 on process, we had 0 seconds, 0 sort of times of relief where we could even give you the analysis, because what I saw is constant deathmatch fights where minuscule micro advantages mattered in terms of where are the players positioned post-Uber, when is a player wrapping behind, is he called out, can he come in, is the soldier sort of dealt with in the air before, and then it basically defined on what Uber then is leapfrogged to the other side. Is Auto living? Does Auto get a 7k? Does Eon get a, well, I don't know, a 1k at least? How many? Yeah, he got 1 frag. That's nice. Yeah. Auto got 7. Yeah, that's it. Almost a 1-0.
He has the same amount of frags as Mac.
Well, look at damage per minute. Okay, no, that's not, not the same.
Double Eon's damage.
Anyway, who is topping the charts here? It is Andy, 32 frags. After that, though, Flick definitely also inflicting very lethal wounds to the enemy team. The scout partners in crime there on the, opposing teams, basically topping the charts. Nicky comes close. I was also very impressed again by Nicky and Andy's performance and just synchronization in those fights. SNH and Flick, they work together as well. Luca Enderman with I think, no, not even close to the top damage. Andy also claims that primacy for himself, but he has sizably more damage per minute than Mac, I suppose.
Yeah, no, I think Luca played an amazing game there on Process specifically. He was on it with the pipes. Really beautiful traps a couple times as well, catching out the enemy combo. Very nice performance from him. I want to give a bit of a shout out also. You gave it yourself, but Flick had himself a pretty good game, to be honest. There were a few moments where, he didn't quite find those shots in the big moments, but for most of this game, he looked very, very solid for his team. But yeah, I think Andy, Luca, and Auto just a bit too strong. I think this to me, we have to put it down to one player, even though it's not. If we can just, sensationalize the headline, Auto is here and he looks so good.
Auto, as his name already implies, does it by himself, but it is also a team effort, obviously, backing this up. Not a whole lot that I want to quibble about in those locks. Honestly, I alluded to it a little bit. It was really just micro advantages sometimes. Yes, people just flourishing off the post fight, but it was just whoever set this up. Looking at medic stats just cursorily, it is sizably more heals by Eon, but apparently that doesn't always net to anything. One crit streak charge used by him, one drop. But that was it from me for so far. I never want to, cut anyone off. When do you have anything else to say? You already just segued a little donate in. What can we donate for?
Ooh, we would like a little bit of extra cash to help set up a stage for Poland. Obviously, once we buy the equipment to set up a stage, we'll have it again for future events. Also, it is any amount of money that you feel comfortable donating, of course, within your own financial means. Be deeply appreciated. ! Donate in the chat. Donate.poland.tf. We will be seeing you, of course, at Poland. One of the teams you watch tonight, the Samurai, will be going. Also looking to compete against the very best. Auto will be going as well, although on Witness Gaming, reigning world champions, looking to defend their title as Froyotech come over alongside another NA team, Moneyballs. A bunch of very good-looking players. I think both physically and in-game. Yeah.
What is on the horizon in terms of land, but you've just witnessed the final week in our round-robin format for the Samurais and the Enderpearls. Just one or two more games coming out before we reach those elusive playoff stages, and you see both of these teams have a very good shot, also especially the Enderpearls probably punching up a bit above their weight, but that was it from us. Thanks for keeping us company. Wan was with me. It was a pleasure, as always, as my co-caster. Samus for catching all the action, and you can see how difficult that is, especially on a game like that, because we had an absolute masterclass of a game. We have been essentials. You are very essential to us as the crowd, and we will see you next time.